There was a requirement for my co-cast this evening. I needed a guy who could talk and talk and talk. So we got him in. Clairvoyance, welcome to the broadcast.
Wow, quite the intro you got there for me, man. I'm very taken back by that description, but what can I say? The truth is the truth. It is what it is, and we have Power Rangers versus Navi, and talking is hopefully what I can do because, quite frankly, Toby, Power Rangers being on the radar for about 6 to 7 months now in the heads of a lot of individuals, and a team that's certainly proven their worth by their assiduous and persevering manners, being able to practice back and forth, back to back, every single day and keeping up with the metagame. Speaking of which, Nedos Vincere, you know, they came out with a devastating 0-3 set of games last night against Empire. And can you believe it? Looks like they've done their homework. Banning the Dazzle in the first pick session. This is Navi catching up to the game.
Yeah, this is also Navi looking at the game and going, all right, we know Power Rangers through and through. Everyone bans the Invoker against them because they don't want Scandal to get it. Lol, look what happens, Invoker's there. But the Bane, the Dazzle, it's really the supports of the unsung heroes of both Team Empire as well as Power Rangers. These are the guys with just bringing that control. It brings in a level of high frustration. And yeah, that's what I think Puppy's banning out more than anything else with these two bans. You see FNG taking out the Nyx, taking out the Enchantress. He's also done his homework too. That Nyx, it's always been played up by Navi. They absolutely love that hero and the Enchantress. Well, you always want to remove that early game aggression with high micro skills from Puppy. There's no doubt about that every single time.
Right. Especially if you want to put Invoker into fray. I mean, it does get somewhat dangerous because Invoker is not exactly the least susceptible of all heroes. I mean, it could be argued that in the recent changes, he's kind of hard to gank up with the Quaswex combination, allowing the Ghost Walk as well as disengage spells such as the WWQ in the Tornado to come to pass. But speaking of all these wonderful things in the metagame and the draft, Ember Spirit getting that banned out now, I guess it's somewhat forgotten over the last couple of days because he's been getting such heavy mention in the banning stages itself. But otherwise, teams are kind of opting for specific strategies. And honestly, Toby, I think the metagame's actually taken a shift towards some sort of consistency, and it looks like this patch, it's the notion of the global presence on the map. And Nature's Prophet coming back to the first pick stages, Storm Spirit being one of the most highly revered picks in this couple series of games over the last course of the last couple of days. And Ancient Apparition, can you believe it, man? He's made his way from the last pick series all the way to the first set of picks.
Well, everyone's now realized AA's harassment potential, the global harassment potential, not to mention his regen control during team fights. So you can't just rely on saying you got all these heroes like Doombringer that can have their mech, or Viper, for example, who just has like high base armor as high life points, and then mech goes off, and then pipe goes off, and then AA ulti just comes in before all of that. And you don't have any of these massive abilities, so it could really catch a team off guard, which really is when, like, I know how you talk about the meta's kind of balancing itself out now. It's still one of those things where you need to find an advantage somehow. And like Nick has been able to do that in some regards. Prophet with his split push, it's kind of come back again. The mass necro books are sitting on the edge of re-entering our world.
10 seconds remaining.
But yeah, it is one of those things where you go Ember Spirit 2, maybe possibility. We know what Forces played it in the past, and Navi, they'll play something different and unusual if they think they can get away with it. I actually want to talk about the Storm Spirit quickly too, man. As I was doing my research a little bit on Dendy, because I was noticing that with every single hero he plays, it's been cycling. Like, I keep seeing it every 3 picks or something like that, like a Storm Spirit will arrive. And it's actually true. The Storm Spirit is spaced out across his last heroes. If you actually go back through it, you've got Mirana, Lion, Storm, Odie, Pudge, Storm, Pudge, Leshrac, SK, Storm. That's his last set of heroes that he's been playing. There seems to be this cycle of Puppy's drafts for the mid-solo.
Oh yeah, and I honestly wouldn't blame them for circumventing around things and just returning to the Storm Spirit. I mean, it's one of the highest win rate heroes that Dendy actually has, and if we have the Statsman on standby, it would be nice to be able to pull out, because I'm pretty sure that's either one of Dendy's most winning heroes or the most winning hero. And it's always a question, because if Dendy's playing, you know, he can certainly bring the plays with the Storm Spirit himself. So it's a matter of question of what kind of opportunities will present itself for them. I mean, if you think about it, Power Rangers lineup right now, they kind of seem somewhat, I want to stay still, because they certainly have the global presence as well as the mobility, and Disruptor, as we know, shuts down, overextends like crazy. But against the mobile-centric lineup like Nature's Prophet, Storm Spirit, as well as the Visage Familiars when they kick in, a lot of those heroes like Apparition and Disruptor are kind of sitting ducks when it comes to like a huge global engagement that they weren't expecting. And now with the Venomancer, all of a sudden the aggression has been cranked up within the early game stages, which might be supplemented very nicely with somewhat of an aggressive carry. And I know Navi's been running a little bit of anti-mage as of late as well, but I don't really expect to see that specifically this game.
No, I actually want to see something a little bit more aggressive from Navi, putting the Venom and the Visage down their bottom lane. Leave Prophet up on the top, slow Storm in the mid, and get someone who can initiate on, as far as the core hero goes, on that bottom lane. Because they could also do it with the Venomancer as a core. I've been noticing Power Rangers out of most teams have been doing this. It's been Trixie and it's been Power Rangers. So Fnatic and Power Rangers have been running this Veno core off lane with 2 extra supports behind him. So I was wondering if we're going to see that from Power Rangers tonight. There's 2 games to happen, so maybe we'll get it in the second game. Maybe we might even get it out here from Navi. But what made me think about this right now is, okay, yeah, Weaver would have been a really nice selection. But Disruptor and AA, we saw almost this exact combination earlier tonight, early today during the Cena Cup when I was casting with Cinderin. And that was one of those moments where you look at the Disruptor, he doesn't get levels, and you realize just how hard Disruptor can get beaten on when he doesn't get levels, and you can zone him out in that regard. That was a little bit different though, because they're running an aggressive Chen lane. It was a Disruptor and an Alchemist. It was a rather weird kind of support combination. But I don't know if Navi would think if they can go up against that Disruptor and AA with just a Visage and a Venomancer, and now a Slanna in the mix.
Okay, now once again, my favoritism that goes for that hero is pretty much unparalleled at this point. I mean, Slaughter, with all the recent buffs to the mana cost removal on Blink Dagger as well as the sprint, just makes him literally one of the top-notch carries, I would say. His burst potential on single target is it's uncompared to anybody else, or it cannot be compared to, rather. Cannot be understated his mobility as well, because that sprint has almost like a 80% time upkeep, which means you basically move in comparison to everybody else at the speed of light on the map itself. And of course the potential of TPing, blinking into a crucial carry and then just bursting them down, it functions like a Doom, really, if you think about it. It's really amazing what he can bring to you in the team fight. And the best thing is, because he's a strength core, right, he builds into all these tanky items, so he's extremely hard to take down, especially if you don't have burst damage. Now Ancient Apparition in that department is, once again, will excel because he can shut down the regeneration aspects. Like if Slaughter gets armlet, Apparition is one of the best heroes to punish it. But you know, you're touching upon about the tri-lane potential coming out of these things, and as you were mentioning, I did see that between Ancient Apparition, Disruptor, and Vengeful Spirit, we know for a fact that one of those heroes are going to be a core. And if it comes to pass that we can use Rangers, they have played the Vengeful Spirit in the tri-lane scenario with the Ancient Apparition, except last time when I saw it was the rendition with the Earth Shaker. So let's see if it goes just as well with Disruptor, because as you said, Disruptor as a whole now is kind of obsolete, but somewhat of an oddball, because it just doesn't get a consistent pickup in most of these games. But it might work in conjunction with the Apparition. I mean, honestly, with all the games being viewed these days, it looks like anything works with the Apparition, so long as it has a form of stun.
Yeah. Man, AA, yeah, you're right. AA works with absolutely everything. And if you get 3 range heroes into the mix-up too, then it's just kite damage as well. As we obviously can't get straight into the game. 1 minute gets to go on the pause time before it. But yeah, man, you called it 100% right. Top lane, aggressive lane. I'm interested to see just how well this goes, because we're not seeing an aggressive lane out from Navi. They're going to go very defensive when they have Puppey and Visage back here. But with the Slanna also heading down to bottom lane, I add question marks. I add the question mark saying that maybe this is going to be an aggro tri-lane, and Puppey's just coming up here to throw a ward. Moving out very early. He's only got like 2 tangos because he's already shared a couple of others. But it looks like he wants to get this early ward down. I don't know if he's planning on putting it where currently Puppey is in fact pinging. I don't know if that's Puppey because it browns it out. But if that ping up on top lane right here, you can see it on the mini-map. And I may even draw in. Yeah, it's Puppey's ping. So he wants to get a ward right on top of that lane, so at least he'll know what's happening with these supports.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but looking at Funix items right now, I'm actually going to say that they're looking to semi-sack the safe lane. And by that, what I mean is the Nature's Prophet going on the safe lane, we've seen Alliance do it more often as soon as the patch was introduced with regards to the changes on the safe lane and the off lane. Basically, the off lane is actually a lot safer to play now. If you block the off lane, as what seems like Havosa is planning to do, what you can do is you can get the creep so far back close to your off lane tower that every single wave that comes after it, it just allows you to play like it's a safe lane. And honestly, with Puppy's warding as well as Funix items, right now looking at the positions of the heroes, I'm led to believe they're gonna do some rendition of a 2-1-2 kind of thing. Maybe Puppy might actually rotate down for a tri-lane scenario, but
he'll rotate down.
yeah, I think they, you know what? They're dodging the tri-lane. I think that's what they're doing. They realize that with the apparition and 2 ranged heroes as well as a vengeful stun to boot in that regard, those 3 heroes can burst down anything inside the Navi tri-lane, and they don't want to deal up with that. And I think that's a very good call.
The funny thing is here, obviously PR, they've just revealed out their position on top lane, and I thought they were going to rotate themselves down to bottom lane, switch the clock to the top, and put the tri-lane down on the bottom. After they're already spotted out up in this top lane, they might feel that Navi want to fight head-to-head, 3-on-3, but this is a Navi tri-lane where they know they don't want to go up against early levels AA or Disruptor. They want these 2 heroes to waste their time rotating around. So Puppy's inside the jungle, checking the camps, nothing's warded up, nothing's blocked up. He can start doing pulls, and it does look like we've got a dual lane. So they're going to zone out the clockwork with K.O, and Puppy's just going to be that guy in the neighborhood if he's needed up on this top lane. But I really thought he was going to go all the way down and just fully initiate in, but obviously they feel Funix can't defend himself.
Oh yeah, especially looking at Funix items. That's why I thought it was going to be a weird version of a 2-on-2, because, you know, when Puppy picks the Venomancer, most of the time he plays it like the Crystal Maiden. He likes to keep himself off the map and play jungle. Now, this game specifically, he hasn't skilled any points because, well, skilling ward against this tri-lane would kind of mean death as soon as you get caught out. But more importantly, if you look at Funix items, he has absolutely 0 regen. I think that kind of says something on its own, is that if you get caught out by that lineup of VS, Apparition, and Disruptor, you're not going to have a chance to use regen because your HP is going to go straight from 100 to 0, and there's nothing that you can do about it, especially with the Nature's Prophet at level 1. So I think the boots pickup really tells the tale in that department. And Toby, could you really say that the tri-lane at bottom is necessary? I mean, look at how well they're doing against the Clockwork now. I mean, especially on the safe lane, you're probably not going to zone out the Clockwork with the XP completely. But as I say that, Scandal gets a solo kill on Dendi at mid lane. Wow.
Welcome to First Blood. You really thought it was going to be up on top lane because that's where my eyes were watching. Or at least on bottom lane, but Scandal being able to solo him up. It's a cold snap and then a very early tornado coming out from the Invoker by the looks of it. And Dendi gets away First Blood. This is actually the second time in 2 games where I've missed Dendi dying solo to a mid-solo.
Yeah, it's a very case scenario, to be honest.
Go for this. Robert's TPing in. They want to go here on Scandal, so dragging it back with a Vortex. However, for Funix, there isn't a way to hold Scandal in position. He has trees and he had TP. He didn't have Sprouts, so he couldn't hold the Invoker.
Oh, and Kuro's coming in.
Oh, he's got Soul Assumption now. He does, but Scandal's managed to heal up enough. He goes for the Courier. Needed 2 attacks, but with a cold snap from Scandal, he might even kill off K.O himself. In fact, he does.
Oh my gosh.
Invoker is now 2-0, while AA, FNG, as well as Moon are all diving back behind the tier 1 tower in the top lane. And they kill off the Venomancer, who was left all alone with the rotation out. And with all of this rotation now, Cheshire Cat walks directly up to Avos to fight him straight man-to-man.
Now, to be completely honest, I think that Venomancer kill was not too much of a big deal. I mean, they already had an advantage in this trial, and it kind of just guarantees it at this point. But I think the bigger story is that Funix had to rotate to the mid lane, didn't get anything accomplished, and in the meanwhile, the Visage rotating with the haste rune lost the effects of the haste as soon as the tornado kicked in, because that's what tornado does. It takes away and dispels some of those buffs. And then proceeded to actually die because Scandal, having the awareness saying, you don't have the follow-up damage, you're just level 2. I'm a mid-lane Invoker with all these abilities. I'm going to be able to right-click you down, follow you up. And especially with that gank coming in and the bottle, as soon as the gank even began, his bottle rotated in with the Courier. So he was able to bottle through the engagement and survive. Just everything seems to be going so well for Empire right now, to say the least.
No, well, for PR, yeah, it's
PR,
looking,
pardon me.
It's looking great. When you look at Scandal, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's Scandal, honestly.
Yeah. You just keep your eyes on him. It's like, yeah, so he's still part of that. No, he's not.
Something like that. He is a stand-in now, I guess. Are they going to? Is it pretty much one of those things where it's basically confirmed, but for the moment they're kind of keeping it on the low? Or?
It's contract work normally. When someone plays under a stand-in tag, but he's full-time with the team, he just can't put a different name next to his own. Or trouble for Funix. There's a Sentry Ward down, but luckily for him, he got an Invis rune. and just get out of the range of the sentry ward. And also, there's no level up on Glimpse. The Stalker is in fact 2 points away from having that level. And Puppey, he's backed himself into a corner. There's more support coming up. There's Denny on FNG, but Denny is locked inside the wall. Denny will die for a second time in that Gale. It's only level 1, so there's no tick out damage. It'll buy time for Funnick to attack and the trees to come down and maybe help it out. But Puppey, he also can't stay that close to Scandal. Tornado's about to come off cooldown. You've already got the points up in the cold snap. And he knows he'll come off cooldown as well. So there's just no openings here for Navi. Their only upside is the fact that Vorst is 28 for 12. The downside is VS is getting very fat up on that top lane. And the damage that she dishes out, especially with an AA buff up too, it's not something which I think any Navi hero wants to deal with right now.
Certainly not. And honestly, this game is going to come down a lot to how Funnick and Havos plays. I mean, Dendi at the mid lane on the Storm Spirit, him dying twice, it always hurts Storm to die because he has to kind of transition as the big force into the mid game. And he has to have a good start with that regard. But getting ganked up before, rotation coming in. But yeah, they
found Koro. Cheshire can't walk down to the side. Property's TPing inside the Cox. And then the two of them get caught inside the wall. Havos get a double crush, but Cheshire Cat's already got himself a double kill. And then Glimpse is level 2 now. Drags it back in again, and they get a triple kill on Cheshire Cat. This is one of those games where I'm pretty sure, like, I know we're only 5 minutes in, but if Denny dies here in the middle lane as well as Scandal, I don't want to call GG on this one, but PR is so far ahead with control.
Yeah, they're looking just way too dominant right now. Even that sequence of events at bottom, of course, the TP right inside Cogs was, for one, it was definitely commitment. For another, it's the ancient apparition.
He's trying bottom lane. He knows Cheshire Cat's got no mana. He's got to get this crush done correctly. Grave Chill to start with, so bash him up twice, then follow with a crush, which means soul assumption damage. They finally get a revenge kill, and it'll be Visage putting Navi on the board. That is their first kill in 6 minutes after 7 have been claimed up by Power Rangers.
A relatively big kill, of course, just as you say, revenge kill, but more importantly, giving the extra burst in EXP that they really need at this point, because Havos really wants that level 6 for that amplify damage, but amongst other things, it's Funnick as well as Visage, Kuroki on the Visage, that are really looking for EXP as well.
Dandy. Even the way he combines that, Dandy only just got ulti off. Good thing for him, he has a DD rune inside of his bottle, so he'll have to use all 3 charges to get back up again. But if you saw that, Scandal started with the EMP, and then went into the tornado. So you guarantee that EMP burn would work, just as far as the timing goes.
Didn't really seem like it did, though, did it?
The EMP did its burn. It's just
okay. And then he still had that mana?
Yeah, he still had just enough mana to get out.
I see.
From the looks of it, because he took the life damage. He took the life damage, so which means that the EMP had to connect.
Oh yeah. I was just curious because he had cold snap and it was still off cooldown, so I guess he didn't get a chance to use it. But I think the cold snap would have guaranteed the kill, so maybe it was just he was waiting for his invoke timer or something. But regardless, he does zone out Dandy from the lane for the meanwhile, and Puppey gets a little bit of EXP for himself, which is good. Every support hero at this point really needs EXP to catch up and kind of maintain their presence.
The crazy thing is too, that I'm sitting here on the sidelines going, wow, if I was sitting on the end of a 7-0, you'd want to be calling GG, especially after Prophet did what he did on the bottom lane. And you lose all 3, including a Vorce because of that. But with a Venomancer, if he can get some high levels up in these Plague Wards, he can stall up this game a very long time.
Oh yeah.
That's the downside about PR. Their tower pushing only comes through their brute damage. It doesn't come through anything else. So they basically need to always have 3 people to push out these towers. And that's when they just profit. If you can get a little bit more space and a little bit more farm and a little bit more levels, then Funnick can slowly drag this game back in again. But in the meantime, Moon, FNG, and J4, they've got to beat the 3 Bash brothers. They're going to be everywhere on the map, and they've got to make the most out of this clockwork to initiate in. He's got level 6, so hook shots up and running. So the more damage they can do, the more they can keep a Force occupied and that Prophet occupied and Storm down, the better it is for them. Because they need to take a lot of outer towers before this game really heads into the mid game. Because that's when they can get controlled and kited.
Absolutely. There's going to be that one point in the game where it's kind of inevitable because everybody will get levels and farm as the game progresses. It's going to be one point in the game where they're pushing a tower on the side of PR and then they find themselves conclave between Navi heroes because of an imminent Prophet rotation with a massive ultimate as well as a Slaughter Blink initiation. And it's just going to be so huge against the majority of these quote-unquote squishy / intel / early game focused heroes. And this is why I feel like Navi, yeah, in terms of score, they're feeling
Good
down.
shot up, right on top of a Vorce. He's cold snap, battery assaulted, and EMP burned out. He gets one quick amplifying off, but the tornado, dies from the fall. Kuro will also be dragged back into the kinetic field. He's trying to TP out, but there was still yet one more stun to come. It's a double kill for Scandal. The Invoker rotating him while up on top lane. J4's going to be left to his own devices. He'll die to Funnick. And Denny was in the neighborhood. Burnt off almost every... In fact, he burnt off every bit of mana he had to help get that kill. But now PR will force out the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane.
Oh yeah, and they can certainly do so. I mean, with all the intel they got at the top lane, with J4 going down to 2 heroes, as well as the 2 heroes that they killed at bottom lane, they know that Navi are in no position to contest this. The best thing Puppey can do right now is actually, I was about to say pressure the mid tower, but he doesn't even have mana to place extra plague wards anymore in vicinity of the tower range.
Look at his money. He's got 1.1k gold. Once those arcane boots are up, he'll keep a wall of wards up at all times. Those things only cost 20 mana.
Yeah, but at the same time, the arcane will take some time to build up. I mean, he's got enough with the energy booster, but he's lacking the boots still.
This is plague wards, man. You're talking to a guy who secret to raising MMR was just pick a Venomancer. and you know, if your team's having trouble, all you gotta do is like support the lane to start with. If that doesn't work, you just pitch a tent in mid lane, put a whole lot of plague wards up, and by just putting like a line of 6 or 7 plague wards and microing them up in the middle lane, you can take almost every single last hit that comes to that lane. So you'll find your money eventually. And then all you basically need is some kind of mana item to help you get by. And that can come through arcane boots. You can build into something else. You want to really push at the lane, ring of Basilius, you can do. And you can also try and build into an Orchid if you think you got enough space and time to build into that. Oh yeah, that for me, I always credit to Fluff and stuff.
Fluff, yeah, I knew you were going to refer to that. Now Funnick getting caught out.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Toast.
If I've ever seen a dead Nature's Prophet, that's got to be the prime example right there. Wow.
But it's better he died than Horst. But look at Puppey.
Oh yeah.
Like Puppey is going to completely ignore us all and go into treads.
Dire's middle tower is under
he's
attack.
no arcane boots, no mana
Dire's
regeneration as such. He's walking around with strength treads for now. And while the mid fortification will come up, there's still 4 here to do this. While I'm watching Kuro hit level 6 on the bottom lane, I'm watching a Vorce farming up on the top lane. Like, I know towers are important, but Familiars, they were thinking about denial. But still, until I see tier 2 towers go down, Cheshire Cat doesn't feed a kill to Denny, which he does. The A ult is on the way in, but it will not connect on Dendy. Just flies over the top of him. So no Ice Blast damage from that. But they basically need to take tier 2 towers before I'm going to say PR has an advantage in this game. And that's not Navi favoritism, that's just a fact. Puppey, we got the ulti off. It's overall movement. It also managed to connect onto FNG. There's not enough support coming in though to ensure a kill, even though Dendy is really considering jumping in just then. But yeah, decides wisely against it.
Yeah, I think what would have happened is Dendy might have been able to burst down the Disruptor just depending on the exact timing of his jump. But if he didn't burst down the Disruptor, Disruptor would have dropped his entire kit with the Static Storm as well as the Kinetic Field, would have shut down the Storm as well. And the 2-for-1 exchange right now, Navi just don't want to take any unfavorable exchanges at this point. They want to minimize their losses. And speaking of losses, Dendy gets up.
Is it on bottom lane? All right.
Yeah. Yeah, the bats came down.
Can you guess what I was watching on the map while I was waiting for it to happen?
Puppey?
Funnick.
Funnick.
To TP out and take out the Disruptor, because he's walking around with a TP scroll on this Prophet. He could have jumped in basically right here at the fountain and sniped him out.
Do people still do that blindly?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very risky move, I think, especially when you look at the scoreboard right now.
Yeah.
And now PR smoked up 4 heroes.
You need to take risks. You need to take risks if you want to come back in this game.
I don't know. I feel like Navi actually want to minimize that department, because if Havos actually gets the Blink Dagger online, they will have the fighting capabilities they need to.
He needs to get out of here right now without using sprint. But hook shot in, he can turn him for a clutch. But with the A ulti coming on top of him too, he can be pretty harsh up on Cheshire Cat. But the amplified damage is there. Prophet's on the way in. Puppey, first one up. Gale's up J4. Familiar birds are in there. Storm, wonderful Sonic Remnant, but even better already out from Disruptor. As Cheshire Cat turns to the blame, Funnick's almost killing himself by attacking him just then. Tornado comes in to try and split the fight, and he one last long jump away. He's on 9 line points, and J4 was there waiting for him as the Invoker takes him out. Kuro is locked in with the cold snap, and we go 16-5. Navi threw all the eggs in that last basket to try and kill off PR when they're up in the high ground. but they really got controlled out.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of the things why I love, and I'm really just excited to watch PR play Dota sometimes. If you saw what Moon did there at the end, I mean, for some players it might be obvious that you swap the target that's closest to you and then just follow up with an attack or a missile. But just the critical thinking as well as the panic situation problem solving, if you would, it's always so intact, it's always so on point. And a lot of times, like for example, you know, if you saw the disruptor, he got flanked by Puppy. Navi seemed like they had what I would call the conclave, you know, earlier on, and they had all the positioning in terms of the advantages because it was on their side of the map. They knew exactly what they were engaging into, and they still lost the fight because why? The disruptor, first of all, he saved the static storm to shut down the storm spirit. They invested their spells diversely, allowing the target focus to not aim one person for every single nuke they had, but they spread it out so nicely that Navi just couldn't react because they're so far behind on levels, and they just pushed the issue that way on their side of the map, and they still came out with the advantage. It's just high level Dotas coming out of these guys, and it really shows after their works.
It's kind of funny because PR, we always classed them as that team that they perform nicely, but you're never really going to say, hey, you guys are going to win TI4. You never really said that, but they do play level of that. They do play quality of Dota at that level.
Honestly, you know what I would classify them right now? It's, I guess, Dota esports maybe hasn't gotten to that point, but like for example, if you remember the Brood War days, there are players that like specifically cater to sniping. I would say at this point, PR should be known for their ability to snipe tier 1 teams, really. And I'm not sure if that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people, but I really feel that way. They're really good at sniping tier 1 teams, it seems like.
As long as they're doing it in an unpredictable manner. It's normally quite predictable, as you're saying, like that aggressive tri-lane is something we've seen from them before.
Exactly.
It's just their execution is just perfect.
Yeah, a lot of times that's what I see too, and execution is pretty much the perfect word. It's like they don't always pick these ease of execution / niche heroes. Like they're lineups most of the time. If you look at this game and you basically gave PR and Navi free farm for 20 minutes, I would say Navi got this game hands down. There's just too much mobility as well as initiation factors coming out of Navi and too much teamfight tank ability. Whereas PR, their heroes are kind of bound to their limits, but what bounds they have, they excel in. They completely decimated their laning phase.
He just found Funnick, he put the tornado in there, the wrong to help him out with an Orchid up on Scandal. Funnick's got nowhere to go. Cole snapped up, he'll even pop from Orchid or the attacks from Scandal. Either way, Nature's Prophet just trying to be tricky down the bottom lane.
Yeah. Try to secure that bottom tower or do as much damage as possible. Now the lane is still pushing in, so they still have intel in that department, and Havos is rotating in. But I'm looking at Havos' item choices, and he got spotted out by the Invoker. If he... actually, well, his team's behind him, so I guess it's fine. PR is still camping themselves at mid, pitched a nice tent there, and Scandal might be looking for a solo kill, but
he wants to give this
1.6k. Yeah, I don't know, man. 1.6k life points on a Vanguard slaughter. That's not exactly
this
prey that you want to chase
Invoker,
after.
man. He'll believe he can control Havos the entire time. And Havos now going into farming. Scandal comes down, and he's watching him.
Scandal, yeah, I think this is a wise move. It would just be nice if he gets more intel around
up into Funnick. Funnick, he might think about, he does in fact trigger off the ulti here, but he'll die up on top lane to the Ice Blast. And support's on the way, but it's all coming too late. Wave one at least will slow down Moon. The Storm's going to jump on him straight away. That's a 3-0 at the end, so they can kill him off with Disruptor. Wonderful kinetic field, and Moon swaps out with the Disruptor, saving his life, killing off Navi. Visage will drop. Slutter's the only one alive at the moment for Navi, and Power Rangers, I don't think they can be stopped, man.
Yeah, if you saw the urn at the end there, it only lasted for a short duration because the Venomancer Poison were able to take it off, but that urn was enough to guarantee his survival. I'm telling you, man, these guys, they play high-level Dota, and it's always so fantastic to see. On the other hand, Navi, they seem like, as much as the drafting...
AOV, Orchid, Call Snap, EMP Burn. He's gone from 100% down to 70, or basically 20%, and he won't shatter at least. But running inside that sprint, Cheshire Cat, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, choke point, hook shot up, into the cogs of battery assault, and that's going to be a Voss dead on the hill.
You know, honestly, Toby, I feel like Slaughter is very similar to the Weaver in the previous patch situation. I feel like he's a hero that he's a lane bully in a sense that if you have a support with him, you can always force the threat of a kill.
Yeah.
But also, you kind of want to stay ahead because you want to be the aggressor, not the one that gets aggressed on. And the thing is, he has all these life points, but really, what function is he serving right now? He can't go into the middle of the fray because he doesn't have the BKB, he doesn't have the initiation in the Blink Dagger, and his team is just generally so far behind, he needs to catch up by farming. And honestly, Slaughter is just not one of the best farming heroes out there. So I really feel like, once again, because Havos was forced into a situation, or even coerced, you could say, just by the team situation, that he couldn't get the Blink Dagger as the first item, Navi are just suffering major drawbacks. And speaking of which, look at Dendi's items in 19 minutes. There is a huge difference in gaming back when it comes to the mid laners right now, and Havos getting caught out once again.
Yeah, EMP burn, he's held inside the kinetic field, and Moon, he won't get the kill on this one, will be Scandal. The Moon with the help there, he actually, there's the GG call.
Yeah.
Havos will call it, and this is actually at the same time Moon finished BKB, by the way. 20 minutes in, he finished that. So, Power Rangers, a well-deserved win. A very, very well-deserved win.
Yeah, and you know what, it actually kind of reminds me a little bit of the Speed Gaming, or pardon me, Cloud9 Gaming versus Navi first match. Navi had a sub 20-minute GG on the first game, but proceeded to crush the next 2 games. So we'll see if the next one tells the same tale with regards to history.